Good evening. We're delighted that all of you could join us for tonight's special ceremony, celebrating the dedication of Edwards Fahey Court. It's already been a big day for Washington University athletics. This morning, we honored 8 individuals and 2 teams as members of the 16th induction class into Washington University's Sports Hall of Fame. At halftime of the women's game, you met a portion of our induction class, and you'll meet the rest of them at the halftime of the men's game upcoming. This is also Elliott Society Family Night, with over 1,000 of WashU's most dedicated supporters here to cheer for our Bears. I'd like to extend a very special welcome to all of our alumni and former athletes, many of whom are seated here in the south stands. Many of you traveled great distances to be with us tonight. We're very glad you could join us. Tonight, I will leave it to others to talk at length about Coach Edwards and Coach Fahey, other than to say this. For more than 3 decades, Mark Edwards and Nancy Fahey have left an indelible imprint on our athletics program. They have done so not only with remarkable success, but with also grace, humility, and a collaborative spirit. They are tremendous ambassadors for Washington University athletics, as well as Washington University as a whole. Their impact has far transcended the basketball court. We cannot be more pleased to honor their service by naming our court in their honor. You will hear from several speakers this evening. I will allow them to introduce themselves, but we have 2 additional special guests joining us at mid-court for tonight's festivities. The first is Dr. Lori White, our new Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. And the other is Dr. William Danforth, who served as our Chancellor here at Washington University from 1971 to 1995. Thank you, Dr. White, Dr. Danforth, for being with us this evening. Now it is my great privilege to introduce the Chancellor at Washington University, Dr. Mark S. Wrighton.
Thanks, Josh. It's really great to have you here as our Director of Athletics, succeeding another great director, John Shale. One of the great accomplishments of my predecessor, Bill Danforth, is to recruit John Shale, who in turn has recruited a great many talented coaches and staff members and contributed to building this great intercollegiate athletics program here at Washington University. I know that many understand the important contributions that Chancellor Danforth made, but one of the most rewarding has been the development of the University Athletic Association. Our intercollegiate competition with great private research universities has been exceptionally important, and I'm proud that we have been so successful with these very talented coaches that we're recognizing this evening. Nancy Fahey and Mark Edwards are nearly unparalleled in the history of NCAA Division III athletics. It's rare for any coach to devote his or her career to just one college or university. Our basketball teams, and indeed our entire institution, have benefited from Mark and Nancy's dedication to Washington University. Between them, they have more than 1,300 career wins. This is a remarkable average of more than 20 wins per season. Their unprecedented success puts them in elite company in America's intercollegiate sports history. At Washington University, we're proud that our championship athletics program is an integral part of a top-tier learning experience. Our student athletes challenge themselves to excel in the classroom, as well as in their respective competitive areas in athletics. Make no mistake, Nancy and Mark are both great teachers, and they have helped students who are athletes, they have helped students who are involved as spectators, and they have helped people like me who just come as an interested fan and supporter. They have changed the lives of generations of student athletes through leadership, compassion, and of course, competitive spirit. These banners are a symbol of success, but their success is more fully appreciated by all the people that they have coached and led and contributed in ways that go far beyond winning national championships or individual games. They have contributed to the development of individuals who now lead lives of meaning and purpose, including the young people who are being coached this evening. I would say they are legends, but they're more than that. They're living legends. They continue to be great leaders here at Washington University, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity to work with them. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dean of Students, Justin Carroll, who will talk more specifically about Coach Nancy Fahey. Please welcome Justin Carroll.
You know, when describing Coach Nancy Fahey, one might be tempted to just say something like the following: 3 decades, 30 years, 833 games, 705 wins, thank you, 128 losses, 84.6 winning percentage, ranks 4th among all active coaches with winning percentage. Each of the past 28 years, our women's basketball team has won 19 games. In 28 years of the University Athletic Association, we've won the championship 21 times, 81 consecutive wins, second team in NCAA history, men or women, to post back-to-back 30-0 seasons, NCAA division record 10 Final Four appearances, 5 national championships: 1988, 1999, 2000, 2001, and 2010. Member of the Washington University Sports Hall of Fame and the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame, and the first NCAA division representative in the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. Oh, wait a minute. There's one more stat that I had to update after tonight. 13,751 stomps. While these are impressive numbers, they're not really the best measure of Coach Nancy Fahey's contributions to Washington University. Far more impressive is the impact that Nancy has had on literally hundreds of student athletes whose lives she's touched. In preparation for these brief remarks, I asked several women, former student athletes who played for Nancy, to describe her personal qualities and the impact that she's had on their lives. Here are some of the words that they used to describe Coach Fahey: mentor, inspiring, caring, prepared, passionate, humble, tenacious, wise, determined, invested, leader, dedicated, and demanding but fair. They also shared with me some of their thoughts on the ways Coach Fahey impacted their lives, and here's just a few of their responses. Coach Fahey taught me about establishing a standard of excellence and then holding myself to it as a player, but more importantly, as a person. Demanding excellence does not mean you always win the game, dreams always go as planned, or relationships are without strife. When you seek daily excellence for yourself and take ownership of your actions and your place in the world, you are more inclined to be in position for positive things to happen to you and to those around you. Another former player responded, Coach Fahey had an incredible impact on my life. During college, I had so much potential in academics, leadership, and on the court. Her demanding the best of me in every area of my life was integral to my development as a player, as a student, and a person. Moreover, the environment she cultivated created a familiar family where the saying, "Bears for life," was more than just a mantra and really equated to a lifestyle. Another former player said, "Coach is one of the greatest leaders I've ever had the opportunity to learn from, and whose influence I leverage in my own leadership roles today. She balances discipline and passion in a way that makes you feel valued as an individual. No matter how big or small the game, she will be the most prepared and ensure the team is the same. I learned that hard work pays off, and there are no shortcuts. That also, the team comes first." And finally, this quote, "I can't thank Coach Fahey enough for the lessons I learned that extend far beyond the court. She made me a better, more confident woman and leader, and for that I am incredibly grateful." Nancy, they didn't give me sufficient time tonight to tell you just how grateful we, all of us at Washington University and our family, our community, how we feel about the commitment, about your service, and about the contributions you've made the past 30 years. I cannot think of a better way to recognize you for what you've done for Washington University and the positive impact that you've had on so many of our students than to have your name, Nancy Fahey, forever associated with this important place. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. So today, when I was thinking about what to say, I didn't want to think about it because we had a game. So I'm probably the least prepared I've ever been because I promised these guys it was about them and they're in their season, and I want to say shout out, way to perform and good job tonight, guys, so thank you. It takes so many people. Dr. Danforth, when I first got here, Chancellor Wrighton, your leadership, John Shale, his leadership, and the exciting new leadership of Josh Whitman. We're in a good place, and I'm very fortunate to be here. And I can't think of anybody else, if you understand the relationship that the men's and women's teams have here. Mark Edwards and I think I've counted exact how many paces is over to his office. And not only is he someone that I respect, he's a friend, and I can't think of anything better than tonight sharing it with Mark. You have to say thank you to a lot of people. Some of my family just sat down. You were standing up the whole other time, so if you could please stand up. They're all sitting over there, okay? I do want to say that somebody in your life has to touch you, and you have to have some of the best mentoring and coaching. My best two coaches were my parents. My mom is watching right now from upstairs. My dad, my 92-year-old dad over there with the red, they taught me everything I know about how to work hard and at the same time hopefully try to treat people the right way. And that is my goal every time I step on this court. And I try to make sure that I work as hard as I expect them to work, and then treat them like human beings, not basketball players. I would like at this point in time to first thank all the students that support the basketball team, the super fans that have been with us for many years, all the parents of every one of my student athletes. But this is all about, for me, the players. And so at this point, if I could have, first of all, I forgot my assistant coaches. One of the things I really need is good assistant coaches. I don't know where they're all at, but all the assistant coaches could you please stand up wherever you are? Could I have every alumni and current women's basketball players, those guys over there, where's Steve Cochran? There you go. You weren't going to stand up, were you? Yeah. Can I have every one of my former women's basketball alumni that are here tonight, would you please stand up? Guys, those are the people that hit all the shots, did everything, worked hard, and let me stomp at them for all those years, and you got some more to go yet. Those are the people that I feel fortunate to have coached. I feel as humbled as a person could be tonight. I simply love coaching basketball at WashU. And I don't take it as something I've earned. I take it that it is a gift that this university has given me, and I cherish it. And I promise I'll keep coaching as hard as I can because of the people that just stood up and the people that are sitting over there. This is a special place with special students. That's what makes this place go, and that's why I'm so happy. But when I look at that, that's what I'm looking at. It's them, and it's you, and it's the coaches, and it's the support, and it's the families. It's the relationships. I hope that's what that's what it stands for. It's the Washington University students and student athletes. Thank you.
Now it's my great privilege to bring to the podium my predecessor as the Director of Athletics here, a man who served as our AD for 36 years and who did such a great job that they put his name on my position. I am officially the first John M. Shale Director of Athletics. It gives me great pleasure to bring John to the microphone to talk this evening about Mark Edwards.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you for all the wonderful things you're doing for Washington University and Washington University's athletics programs. I've been looking at the Edwards Fahey Court logo, and what I see, I had some notes here, but I don't think I'm going to be able to use them tonight. But what I see is a circle of success brought about through the young men and women who have played the games for Coach Fahey and Coach Edwards. That's what I will always see when I walk into the field house. I am so proud of your kids. I wish everybody could have been with us this morning when we talked with the inductees in Washington University's Hall of Fame, our 16th class. It was fantastic. The emotions that came out in that room, the tears that came out, the memories and the teammates. Great, great stories. I really wish that everybody here had an opportunity to be a part of that ceremony. But I'm here to talk about Mark Edwards tonight, but it's hard to talk about Mark without talking about Nancy at the very beginning here, in that we are so privileged to be with both Mark and Nancy tonight on this special occasion. And we're so proud of having Washington University name the basketball court in your honor. So congratulations to you. Looking around the field house, I am reminded of the journey where it all started 35 years ago. No men's basketball program, no backboards, no players, no balls, and no coach. So we had to fix that. And I remember when Mark would come through on some of his recruiting trips with Washington State, and we'd have a chance to talk about Washington U and about basketball. And we would stroll and sort of conjure up some of the memories that he had while he was a student here. So I brought him down to the field house, and there was a starling sitting on the table. All right? This was an old field house. It was rather antiquated, but when we talked about that field house, there were some crisp memories that were part of his experience. And then we talked about basketball. Is there ever going to be a chance for basketball to come back to Washington University? And then we talked about the field house again, and no matter how negative a facility might be, he always found the positive. So we can fix that. Yeah, we could. We don't have basketball. Well, we can. You can have basketball at Washington University. Yes, and we can. And we're very, very fortunate. Basketball had been on the mothballs, has been on the shelf, has been laying dormant for 10 years. And we did a search, and we were looking for a very, very special person to come and accept the challenge. And it was under the leadership of Dr. Danforth, who brought basketball back to campus. You know, oh no, leave the little kids alone. They're having a good time. I'm often reminded, you know, I love those little voices because I think about our camp programs. Probably a lot of parents right here that came through the camps for Mark and Nancy, and they might be future campers out there as well. So let them have a good time. But Mark Edwards accepted the challenge to come back to his alma mater to resurrect the men's basketball program. We couldn't be happier. We couldn't be more proud than to have him on campus. And when we went through the interviewing process, he was a man that had a vision. He was a man that had a blueprint for success. And he's a man that is meticulously organized, and he was able to put it all together. He joined us, you know, first of all, Mark is a 1969 graduate of Washington University, and he joined us from Washington State University. And there he served for 9 years under an outstanding head coach, George Raveling. George was a highly respected and immensely successful head coach and a wonderful mentor for Mark Edwards. I liked Mark's resume. I liked his remarks about why he wanted to come back to Washington University. He said, "I am confident that the experiences I have received at this level of intercollegiate athletics provides a firm foundation upon which to build a quality basketball program." Next, he says, "Having graduated from Washington University, I am familiar with the needs and the priorities of student athletes." And finally, he said, "College athletics provides a tremendous educational experience as long as it remains consistent with the philosophies and expectations of the university." Yes, he indeed had a blueprint for success. I remember our first season, we finished with 3 wins and about 16 losses. I still had confidence in him, and he had confidence in me. Now, after our first season, winning 3 games, I thought it was pretty good, actually. Talked about this season. I asked him to come into my office. Let's talk about the season a little bit. He said, "Well, the past season, we couldn't win at home, and we were losing on the road. If I have any weakness as a coach, it was that I couldn't think of any other place to play." Under the leadership, I'm going to fast forward now. Under the leadership of 2 chancellors, William H. Danforth and Mark Wrighton, and with their steadfast support, encouragement, and inspiration, these are some of the things that Mark was able to accomplish. Under the leadership of Mark resurrected the men's basketball program in 1981 after a 10-year hiatus, was instrumental in the debut of the Lapata Basketball Classic in 1984, both of which further enhanced the progress of athletics at Washington University. Coach has successfully led Washington University's basketball program for 35 years and has built one of the very best programs in the nation. And he has a current 31 consecutive season winning program. So that's quite an accomplishment. 31 consecutive winning seasons. Under his coaching reign since 1981, the Washington University Bears have won 637 games, have achieved 19 NCAA appearances, won 13 University Athletic Association titles, made 3 Final Four appearances, and won 2 national championships. We're proud to hang those banners. He was involved in the planning, construction, and renovation of the new athletic complex from 1983 to 85 and assisted with the planning of the new Gary M. Centers Recreation Center scheduled to be completed this June. Mark played a key role in the formation of the policies and procedures of the organization of basketball within the newly created Washington University Athletic Association, one of the finest conferences in collegiate athletics. He was inducted into Washington University's Hall of Fame in 2011 and the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame in 2015, and is a 3-time recipient of the National Coach of the Year. So before I walk away from the podium, I just want to say that Mark is much more than a coach. He's a friend, he's a leader, he's a colleague, he's an organizer, and he indeed is a meticulous planner. He's a motivating leader and a patient teacher. But more than anything else, Mark Edwards is an inspiration and an exceptional family man. Please join me in thanking Mark for all he's done over his 35 years. Couldn't have a better friend in the world. Congratulations, Mark.
Wow. Very humbling. Very humbling. You know, especially to be standing at midcourt here. Most of the guys that have played for me probably would say I don't need this microphone. And some of the officials. When I look at the court and look at the surroundings, and I was sitting there listening and gazing through the people in the stands, I realized what a fortunate person I've been. There's a lot of emotion out on this court. This is where the people of this university come for action, spirit, passion. Right over there, we lost a game this year. Down there, we won a game. The balls bounced funny on the rim. We've sat over there and cried. We've sat over there and cheered. There's been presidents standing right there, trying to convince the world they're worth following. Yes, a lot of history in this court. And there's a lot of history in this room, too, that gives it meaning. I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to be a part of this for the past 35 years. And a number of the reasons why I've been here for 35 years, and a number of the reasons why those numbers were that he read off, are all sitting right here. You know, it started with my family. Your family always validates what you do and where you go. My brother and sister are here, Steve and Kim from California. And then my wife, Mary, who probably lives and dies the emotions on this court as much as I do. My daughter, Carrie, and her husband, Joel, and my son, Todd, and Lauren. My in-laws, my nieces, my nephews, all have been a big part of it. And then I was fortunate enough to be mentored by somebody over here, George Raveling, a man that taught me what competition really is and how to prepare your life to be successful in the right way. I was with him for 9 years and learned a tremendous amount, not only about the game of basketball, but about the passions that go with sport. And I thank you. Washington University, after I played here, dropped basketball. I don't know if there's a correlation there or not. But 10 years later, a person became the chancellor of this university, Bill Danforth, who had a vision to bring some kind of vitality to this university. It was a university well known for its academics, but not much beyond. He hired John Shale to develop the athletic component of that. And John gave me the chance, and 5 years later, Nancy, the chance to use athletics and basketball as a way to do that. Their successors, Mark Wrighton, Josh Whitman, have carried that forward. These are the people that really had the vision, that trust people and give them the moments to go with it, and that enjoy the product of what comes out on this floor and the emotions that go with it. My assistant coaches have been a tremendous help. All my assistants that are here, will you please stand up? I've got former assistants, current assistants. And the parents. I've got parents that have come back to be with their kids while they're here this weekend to celebrate basketball at Washington U, men and women. The parents have been a big part. They've always been a big part of our program because they're the ones that produce the product we get to work with. If you're a parent of one of our players, current or former, please stand up for just a second. And then the players. Over here in the corner are some of the guys who were on that team that won 3 games. They set the tone of believing you can succeed and that you can win. And it took us 3 years to get that going. And every year when we walk into the room, as these guys will tell you, my first thing I'd say to the team, is there a championship in this room? And there finally was. But most importantly, these players believed in themselves and in each other and what they could accomplish together if they did it the right way. We have a number of them that are back. A number of my former teammates are here also. Former college mates are here also. All to share in this very special evening. Could I have all my former players please stand? And I'll let you be the judge of who the oldest ones are. And like Nancy alluded to the fact that one of the greatest marriages that we have had has been the men's and women's basketball program here at Washington University. We refer to it as a basketball program with a men's team and a women's team. We share offenses, defenses, strategy. She hasn't shared all of her banners yet with me. We're working on that. I can't think of anyone that I would rather have my name associated with forever. And all the future things, that's the neatest part about it. It's not just what's happened here, it's what's going to happen here. And my team tonight, they've taught me something really important. They've taught me that it's not about what you have done, but it's what you are doing. And as a coach, no matter how old you are, you can't forget that. No matter how much I enjoyed the successes these guys have had or the banners they've hung, I can't forget them. And so, folks, thank you. And we have a drama to play out yet. I hope the energy will come from you to them and us to you. And let's enjoy another night of WashU basketball. Thank you very much.